Hello, hello. New phone. Who dis?
It
Hello.
it it the guy in the engine room.
I need a sandwich and a coffee, please. Up on the bridge. Welcome back to Trekyards, everybody. He's Commander
Yes.
Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
We're here today to talk about Strange New World, Season 3, Episode 6. The Sealet Who Ate Its Tail.
How was episode 6 then? What do you think?
I rather enjoyed it, actually. It's good to see the fairy ditch those nacelles. Just get rid of those. I mean, you gotta get rid of the struts to be really... Anyway. Um, We talked about that. Actually, it's funny because we talked about that in our saucer separation episode where they had the ability to detach nacelles as well. Love that that was shown. But honestly, this was a fun episode. Love the scavenger ship. It felt very cartoony. And I believe it is actually based on something from something else because it looks very familiar. I don't know if it actually was in the animated series, The Scavengers, but um, yeah, it's the twist at the end was a little bit like, huh? I don't understand. Um, is it just one ship? Is there multiple? I mean, it's supposed to be just one, I guess. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Seeing Kirk's first command and his trepidation was great. Got a few lines about risk. And then he perfects it later for risk is our business. And Scotty's interaction with him, like not quite sure of him. That was great. Yeah, there were some pretty good visuals in this from the alien spacesuits, which also looked very familiar. I guess we knew this already, but Pelion 9,000 years old? I thought she was 900 years old.
I thought you said
So,
5,000.
well, I wrote down 5,000, so you're right. Uh, but yeah, seeing all of her, like her quarters and Bunga, like, yeah, this is exactly what I expected. And she pulls out an Atari 2600 with one of the wireless controllers. Damn. Everybody had something to do. I think Una did really great in this episode, honestly. Pike, not so much. Pike was a little bit off his game again. But yeah, it was basically like souring the milk again for the like Galaxy's Child, where they had to like, disrupt the deuterium flow. I didn't know what to expect for the reveal of the aliens, and then after I watched the episode, there was some chatter in our one spoiler Trekyards group, and somebody said Packlids, and it never even occurred to me, which is odd. I think it would have. Seeing some of the ships inside the other ship was interesting. Seeing the Enterprise get pulled in was very, very 1960s kind of idea, or like an animated feel to it, I thought. I mean, it was good. It was good. Yeah, that's all I got for right now. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. There's some good visuals and some good space shots, which I really appreciate, as you know. So, yeah. How about you? What did you think of this episode?
I think it was the closest to a TOS episode they've done for a while. And I think I've said that more than once this season. So it might be my favourite of the season. I'm not 100% sure why.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense to you? Because it's quite a bold statement.
It does make sense to me, yeah.
Because it feels like a Star Trek episode. Like an actual the classic name, which the show is often too funny, too silly, all those other layers, or too romanced, or too canon weird. But this just was a Star Trek episode with a good premise, good acting, some good canon connections, kind of. Like, it did the core strongly. And I think maybe the show's missing a bit more of this core. Because while I can enjoy the trailer episode, it's obviously more like a fun, silly throwaway in lots of little aspects. Whereas this is like, oh, it's just a Star Trek episode. Does that ring any true? Like now I've explained it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think one of the things that might have contributed to that was Paul Wesley's Kirk. Because I did get shades of Kirk there for sure with the way he was portraying it. And not over the top. It was just some of the subtle hand movements and some of the acting choices. So
I mean, it's the trickiest role to kind of get. Spock is a style, and then you have something key to you that the producers see. You add the Spockisms on top, and then you refine it. And Ethan does a great job. He's not Nimoy, but he's Spock, right? There's a thing. Kirk is far more explicit in his weirdness if you go that route. And if you don't get that route, he's just a guy. Whereas Shatner, he is obviously he's existing as Kirk, so he doesn't have to think. He's just being, right. So in the original episodes with Paul Wesley, he's just Guy. There's no real Kirk, and you can say it's because he's younger, but he's not that much younger, really, really. This was interesting because for a lot of it, he wasn't Kirk, but for moments he actually was. and I wasn't necessarily needing even the Kirk moments because he's not Kirk yet and he's Paul Wesley. But it was very nice to see a few that like, oh, okay, I can see, and I appreciate that. Luckily, unlike Discovery, where it talked down to legacy characters a lot of the time to hurt them to improve their characters, which was a real shame. The end scene with Pike and Kirk at the end didn't degrade either character while still making Paul Wesley's Kirk feel a little bit weak. But the way they framed it was nicely done, and the dialogue was good. It worked a lot better than a Discovery scene would tend to do with these sorts of legacies, where it would, like I said, hurt one to service the other. Same with Spock, right? At this first half, I didn't feel any chemistry between him and Kirk. Like I was surprised by lack of chemistry, but they've had nothing to do together, right? But by the end, I'm like, okay, they've found us a little bit of dialogue, a little bit of chemistry. It's an ember, but there's a few moments. I like the fact, which I didn't think I was going to, that Paul Wesley Kirk's captain was a Vulcan, which does go a long way to explain why he's so Vulcan-centric in his life. He wants a Vulcan because he's used to having that mentorship and then talking to as a friend. And that now makes a lot more sense. It's unnecessary, of course, but like, oh, I see why he has a huge Vulcan just preference of interacting with, etc. So that was pretty interesting. The main plot was good, very TOS. At first, I thought it was going to be the Doomsday Machine. I was going to cringe hard. Before we saw it, I thought they were going to not see it, destroy all the records of it, and then see it at the end, like, leave them, like, oh, yeah. Don't want that, didn't do it, cool. So happy it was something new. I guessed it was humans with about 10 minutes to go, because I thought that would be the obvious twist, which would say something, but I was waiting to be surprised, and I wasn't.
Well, as soon as Spock was looking at his scanner and he said, Captain, the life signs, I'm like, they're not human, are they? That's the only moment. And then the switch back between Pike doing the reveal and, Kirk looking into the scanner as well. I kept second guessing myself. Is it humans? Is it not? Is it humans? Is it not? I expected something different behind the helmet. So, and then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was picturing I pictured three options. Either it's ancient humans from a long, long time ago who may have like got ancient alien tech, whatever. It's Vulcans, and that's a huge weird twist. Like, these are really vicious Vulcans. It makes no sense. Like, same thing, but the Vulcan will also be a twist. Or it was them from the past, or them from all the time. If that was Ethan Peck's face, it's like these are broken clones of us. Like, that sort of weird, like, twisty twist. So whatever. It was good because I was genuinely shocked. They just merged all the people and didn't second guess it. Like, the bluntness of, let's just destroy the ship. It's like, So, but then they lingered. Actually, you murdered 7,000 people who didn't need to die. Now, I don't like the fact that because they're human, it makes it a bad thing. Because that's how they kind of framed that, very humocentric. But it's like, yeah, but you just killed 7,000 people. You could have disabled that ship potentially, or just, not destroyed it and left.
I like the message at the end where Kirk's like, yeah, I wasn't even considering, I had no empathy. I wasn't even considering that these were people worth saving or like similar to me at all. And then I love Pike's response, like, yeah, it's part of the job. I mean, maybe that's your lesson. You find out that even aliens are, we have a lot in common with, like, they're just out there doing a thing, right? And you can put yourself in that position. So I love that. I thought that was great.
Like, it was there for the message. It was there because the end scene needed something that harsh. But I would be hesitant personally to kill Klingons on a ship. Like, let's just blow up the ship and kill everyone aboard. All their families have lost their sons and daughters. Of course, in wartime, you just, you or them, whatever. But they could have done something else. Now, had they said, if we let them leave, they'll kill more millions, and then, okay, fine. Or had they said, the D7 explodes and killed it instantly. That was a really weird CG. That was a one-shot weird. I wish they'd said, kind of like Star Trek 3, I told you to disable them. There was obviously more antimatter in the D7 than we expected, and hence it didn't mean to blow up the whole ship, because that would have made a lot more sense if it was an incidental kill all 7,000 people versus like, let's just brutally kill them all in one swoop.
Well, I mean, they did kind of imply that if it kept going on its merry way, it was going to take out Sullivan's planet. So, and they said it's a pre-industrial society. There's millions of people. So
I get it, but you could have disabled the engines. You could have disabled the anything but blow up the ship, potentially, right? But yeah, the message at the end of something was meaningful. I do think there's some cherries on this cake, but they're like low key. The thing they absolutely flew at the sun and missed because they did it but didn't do it. When they zoom in to the goddamn ship in the middle, it's a ring ship. It's a bloody XCV ring ship, and you can see it. But they zoom in so you can't see it unless you frame by frame. So they built a 3D model of a ring ship. They showed it. No fans are going to know what it is because it's not clear enough. So why the absolute hell in the end scene with this fake image of everybody don't they show a ring ship spinning? This was their time to put it in canon. Like they literally did. They had a model, put it on the goddamn monitor. Or do one shot, so they're panning from all the people on the thing, and fade down and fade the ring ship leaving Earth space in one view flyby, symbolising they went, I hope. You've got the model, you did it, boom, done. They literally did a ring ship, but they did it so ineffectively that no one's going to know or care. Why? Because if they had a space shot of the ring ship, that would have been the icing, the cherry, the top.
I mean, I noticed it was a ring ship. And even on the zoom in, you can just tell by the hull that it's a ring ship with the configuration of it.
But it's like 27 frames.
I know, but I noticed it. Some
You're
people
you,
will notice it. Some
and
people
I'm
will
me.
notice it.
But do you agree? A, it was great to see it, but B, they should have done a shot of it, like something to really show it, because that was we're never going to see it again in live action potentially. So, what do you think? Are you as annoyed as I am on that?
No, I don't think I'm annoyed by it, but now that you said it, yeah, it could have used that for sure. Yeah, it was a wasted opportunity. So, yeah.
Like it canonize it in live action for the first time as a CG model, if you freeze frame it. But it was there, XCV 100. Enterprises 330. So that's great. And I hoped they were going to, because the obvious choice.
Mm-hmm.
And they did.
So this was the descendants, the people, obviously, and that's fine. I was just confused as to why this happened. Like, are we going to get more of a backstory? But we didn't.
Well, they're dead. So, hard to backstory now.
Exactly, yeah. And you got to wonder if it's just the one ship. And I think it just is the one ship. But with descendants and stuff, they could have got other ships and done other ships up like this. Because they make this... They're the destroyer of worlds, the Sarslick. The Klingons have a word for them as well. Like, they patrol the outer reaches of space. It feels like there's more than one ship, so there's probably more scavengers out there.
So when at the end, I thought they might have gone a Vija approach, whereby when they zoom in, they see an even older thing, and they say it's got like an ancient core on it, something green or purple empowering it, implying, oh, they found something on the edge of space and it like did something to their minds. Like something very Vija, right? Old tech, go crazy. Because the ship, they say it's more powerful than anything I've seen so far, pretty much. And they've seen a few things. Enterprise, like, not that they necessarily care about Enterprise, but like ships they've seen. They say that. They've seen the Xindi superweapon, they destroy planets. So that is them explicitly saying it's more powerful than the Xindi superweapon. They don't care about that, but whatever, fine. I mean, the Gorn super carrier was giant, probably very powerful. So it's more powerful than that. It's not as big as that, which is good, but still very big. But thing can just gravity... It's a Doomsday machine, right? It can gravity planets. That's it. It's the exact same power set, plus it can eat ships very easily. How the hell do humans get that tech and then build a ship around it?
Well, it was one of those situations where they probably needed resources and they just started acquiring alien technology and started going from there.
But how's an XCV ring ship attack anybody and get tech and progress?
I don't know. Maybe it was... Like, that's what I mean. I want to hear the story.
That's what I mean. I was mentally waiting for they dipped through a wormhole, got messed up with an alien planet, like something literal to Vija, and then they came. Because it's odd. They say the edge of space, but obviously that's the edge of Federation known space in this century. So back in their era, or even an X era, there's nowhere like it's gone super far out. But also by TNG, this is all now not even close to being the edge of space, right? Like the borders keep expanding, exploring more space, whatever. But why are these racers who are slow? Fair enough, I liked that, and very slow. So they overtake it in like minutes, and just the overtaking takes 2 hours to catch up to. So I guess they're like 1 or 2. I guess. Yeah. And even that would be. We know Strange doesn't care about time or space. Like, how has Enterprise got to them in the same day? If they're just space, they don't care, right? They never care. But why haven't they gone back to Earth in the last 200 years? Because they obviously haven't.
That's my question, yeah.
And fine if they warp out to the edge of space then and further, and it's going to take us 9 months to get back. Just take 9 months to get back then, it's fine. And not just that, they had at least 3 D7s and others they had multiple D7s, which was also brand new, right? That means they've acquired 3 D7s in the last year and a half, 2 years, because they're brand new. in those databases, they would include records of the Federation. So 100% they know about the Federation, 100% know about Earth, 100%. And if they got any ship after the NX era, like a Vulcan, they'd also about the Federation. So they've known about us for over 100 years probably. Like no reason to say not. So why have they chosen not to go back to Earth, and why are they butchering planets and people? And there's no element of anything else to that. It's very gruesome, right? And not explained even on iota. What do you think? What are you vibing?
Well, I mean, that's why there was that little segment at the end with, if we were in that situation, would we do something similar to stay alive? That's the question I had, is why didn't they encounter a Federation ship and be like, hey, what's up? I mean, yes, your mindset changes, but how many generations could it be? It's not that many.
Yeah, it'd be in the 60s, 2060s.
Were they infected by some kind of alien pathogen that made them, more savage, more animalistic, forgot or didn't care that they were from Earth? I don't know. Like, that's questions.
Yes, the first one was in the early 60s, so this would be in the 50s, 2050s. So yeah, not far from now, and they became a world-destroying power.
Yeah, that implies severe alien technology, which maybe tried to take over their systems or something, and then something happened, and I don't know. See, that's the question. You can't lose that much generational memory in that amount of time. Which also raises another interesting question. How many people fit on a ring ship? Because there was 7,000.
It was a big one. If you look at them, the window scale's pretty small. So it is the biggest one we've seen.
Yeah.
It is a big scale one.
But still, with the way they're designed, they're not, known for their internal volume. So,
although if that one was specifically GTFO, they might have done double the space, and it might have had a Botany Bay style caravan of.
maybe.
And we don't actually technically see a ring; we just see the front bit. So obviously we're adding the ring bit, but like we can assume. But maybe try ring, right? If it's literally we're escaping, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, 7,000 in 80 years, and the ship is like a giant massive node, nothing inside. And if you look at the outside, it's points and guns. I don't think there are quarters on the points. But I don't know if the CG people who were told to design it knew it could hold 7,000 people. That's that disconnect.
All the bodies they saw were wearing spacesuits as well.
Which means they wouldn't die.
Well, there's that too, yeah.
Even a warp core explosion. I mean, bloody hell. End of season 2 of Stranger Worlds. That thing was ravaged by the Gorn. And they still managed to do some stuff with it. So there's going to be pockets of that ship that still have, not necessarily life support, but like have function. There's probably shuttles. Like, if these are the people who literally take apart ships for a living every day, all day, I mean, and they've got spacesuits with grav thrusters and grav, like, there's going to be several hundred people who work together. I mean, we could, like, if the Galaxy class did that, you'd expect there to be survivors to come together, to form a raft, to pull, like, you know what I mean? And that could be super interesting, right? If 800 people survive, get super freaking pissed, and come attack Earth in season 5.
Maybe this is the origins of the Packlets. They survive this, they run into another alien race, they have offspring that become the Packlets, they become scavengers and pulling in new tech, building new maybe? I don't know.
Because you're right, I didn't even think that as well. They were oddly Packlet, and I wonder if that was a red herring, because the ship is not similar, but the grapplers, the suits are big and bulky.
Yeah.
There's certainly intentionality to that, / oops, it was not intentional because we had to use spacesuits as a baseline, which was great. That was a really nice caveat there. Although they make a feral noise when they get hit. So I guess the spacesuits crackle with a... It's like, right. Sure thing, boss.
Yeah, actually, now the more we're talking about it, the less I'm like... I was just willing to accept it and had a few questions, but now I'm like, I have so many more questions.
But it's a conceit in storytelling. I did a fan film where you have to sort of push one angle to not make it obvious the twist.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just show it, it's like, well, that's obviously this, or like very potentially this. So by making them squeal like aliens and have the suits be too big and have alien guns, like I get the reason, but it's like, But I appreciated the very early reference of where the weapons, the rifle, like bullets. I thought it was an odd offhand reference, but that's cool. Yeah, they still use bullets, but with stuff around them. Yeah, sweet. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. It would have been nice. I was waiting for a post-credit sequence like we had with Dead Stop in Enterprise when the station was rebuilding itself. I was absolutely waiting for, and I talked about it more, it definitely needed this, a sequence where, okay, they've left, say like cut to a title saying, 12 hours later, and a smaller ship boom, in, and then out of the wreckage, like a bit of debris with thrusters comes out, goes into the ship, and then you like cut to the LED wall, and there's a guy, and he takes spacesuit off, and it's like some NASA guy, like something else, and says, "Where are they from? Earth." Ugh. Like, you could have done something really, like, that would have been an amazing cliffhanger to end on. They just destroyed our 80-year save the universe plight in 3 torpedoes. That could have been amazing. But also, classic TOS one-off, I'm okay with that. What do you think? Was that too much? Or would that have made it better for you if you had the extra oomph at the end?
I don't know if it would have made it better for me. I like the idea, but it would just seem to be like, oh, now this is going to have to be continued at some point. Whereas now it's just literally a one-off. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It's a good idea, though.
They could have answered 1 or 2 questions, like saying, where are they from? Earth. The progenitors. It's like, nah, okay. You know, like their context has shifted. Or like there's a bald eagle statue with a American flag and it's in tatters and burn marks. Like, I hate those people, but it's a good premise. It's just a bit confused.
What did you think of the telephone aspect of things? I thought that was going to be leaned into more heavily based on the trailer.
I've said it 4 or 5 times. Lots of these things we looked in the trailer, thought, oh, that's going to be a potentially badly done plot thread. It's just there as a little gimmick and fun for the trailer. The marketing guy thought it was cool. It was a minor part. It didn't overuse it in any way. It was absolutely fine. Come and gone. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad it wasn't a full episode of that, because it would have been super silly. Yeah, and another pothole avoided again. I do think they missed a big trick actually. I mean, Pelly was good this episode. She was fun. She was well used. Whatever. Shocked, whatever. But the fact that when she was going through her stuff, there wasn't an X era or something that she had. It's like, that's the chance to say, because yes, it's fine to have stuff from the 80s, 70s, 90s, but there's lots of years after that. Like a signed picture of Zephyr Cochrane, like something silly, or a phase pistol, or like you have access to the archive of CBS if you carefully pull a piece from the NX era.
I thought that too, because I saw her quarters and I'm like, this is all very like her antique store that we saw before. And it's like, there's been other things that you could have collected over the years. That did register in my brain when I was watching that scene, because I was looking for other stuff in the background, anything really. And yeah, I couldn't see anything. It was very much just her antique store layout kind of vibe. Like all of the inventory she just brought with her all these years.
Yeah, it was just the prop store at Paramount Toronto. What have we got? Right? Which is fine. I did think there was a bit odd, and I'm probably not going to utilize that as a Lanthanite bit of canon because it doesn't make it's just her. But she says and I liked her knowing the astronauts, that was great at the end. Like, she was there, that was super cool. But the fact she said we didn't have warp drive yet, you got to Earth via warp drive. Your race had it for thousands of years. As much as you're loved by people, but the way she said that was if we hadn't discovered it yet. But it's like, yeah, you've been here because you had warp drive. I wish she'd had a proper Lanthanite context.
Yeah, she just said you hadn't developed warp drive yet. Because yeah, I think she identifies as a human. I'm just saying, because it's it's kind of indicated.
It's just she got there via her species warp drive. She's literally a space traveler. It just felt really disingenuous to like how you could have added the Lanthanite context. Yeah, but I was definitely struck by the amount of on Farragut of like, damn, this is Scotty and Uhura and Chapel and Kirk and Spock.
Yep, me too.
If you had said that when they had pitched Strange New Worlds, I would never have thought that lineup. I would never have thought based on Discovery and how they played it all, we'd actually get representations that were reasonably good of all of them. They'd have picked Samson and Brown and Duvlek and Bling, and who was mentioned offhand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, okay, now this is actually the crew mostly. Like, how did that feel? Because I know you're a TOS boy.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had a moment where it's like, these guys are all going to work together at some point. I love that he mentioned Sam. You got to save Sam on the Enterprise. His brother's there. And they reference, like, you know, what Sam said about Kirk and his ambition and things like that. I kind of wish Sam was on this mission, if I'm honest. I would like to see the two brothers interact a little bit more. It was absolutely kind of a cool moment to be like, yeah, this, you know, he's used to these people. But you never get that sense in TOS, but you kind of do. They did it very well, I think.
It's so tricky because I don't love seeing the firsts when they're not in the right uniform and the right bridge, or at least something akin. It's like cognitive distance of like I'm accepting it but reiterating it through the lens of how it should have looked, or if the show had been more consistent, it'd be more satisfying. But that said, the chemistries are all quite interesting to play, and I for the most part liked what they did. The fact that Kirk, was decisive but wasn't. He did listen to them but didn't. And there's reasons for all of it. And not giving Scotty the full miracle worker treatment and all that stuff, and him being a bit more pushbacky. Yeah, it was good. I think Spock was a standout of like they found something in the episode, but like I said, the fact that Kirk knows how to talk to Vulcans came across.
There's one line that bothered me, where Spock's like, "You need to talk to your crew. It's very needed." I was expecting it's very logical or something, because he was very much Spock, more TOS Spock in this episode with Kirk, which I appreciated.
I agree, but I actually think that if I was writing it, because I try and do a lot of depth, I would argue that's because Spock is currently in his human phase with his crew, who are much more informal. Kirk is more knowing the Vulcan dealing with his captain. So as Spock has his trauma that makes him less emotive, his language changes out of the more Pike casual to the more Kirk professional, and therefore they readjust each other. So he goes more logical and Kirk goes more whatever. That's how I saw that.
That's why I expected him to say logical, because Kirk's captain is a Vulcan. I thought he would try to talk to him and kind of, because Kirk even started that scene with what would be her next move for this chess game. So that's what I assumed was going to happen, and it just went the opposite way.
It's because Spock's used to Pike, talking to Pike, and Pike's super informal, which I actually liked how much more professional Kirk was than Pike. Not in this particular episode, like they were similar, but Pike is like, "Let's go make eggs," and Kirk's all like, "No, I must go and think about this in my room and then think and have a serious conversation and be impactful." It's like, oh, okay, interesting. I kind of liked that, but the age difference, right? Pike is much older, much more experienced. Speaking of Pike, who, yeah, I wonder how much actually was him in the spacesuit running through the corridor, because I kept feeling, is he really on set? Or is he hanging out with his wife and kid? I'm like...
I thought that for both of them. When I couldn't see their faces, yeah. I'm like, are we going to get some serious stunts with these guys?
I mean, there's no reason to necessarily be that cynical, but it felt like they were like, yeah, we can give the main cast 2 days off, do other stuff, because we're paying them lots and lots of money. We can use some people for this whole day of shooting. Let's just use them and do something else. Like, there's no reason for them to pay that much. But then I was pleased, and I wish they kind of addressed it more, that Pike's invulnerability to death. It's like, yeah, he can't die. He can kill everyone around him. He can lose his ship, but he can't die. And they've never used that. Probably a safe bet to stay away from it. But as we're now nearing the end of the Stranger Worlds journey, the fact that he can now use his invulnerability is going to be very, very, if he re-registers that, is super interesting, doing absurd things. He can't die of radiation, and I thought that's what I'm going to do. I thought we were going to go on engineering, be hit with radiation, and walk out being fine, because he knows he can't die then. And I'm assuming that's going to come into play in a couple of episodes, being like, I hope not a risk taker, he's not that much of a risk taker, but like, he can personally do certain things that are a bit silly, and the crew's like, "Sir, it'll kill you." It's like, it won't. Oh, did it?
Well, I thought about that when he was on the ground, like, and the guy had his phaser, and I'm like, I thought
that was the first. Yeah,
you should be more calm than that. And then says to Lon, I don't know, why didn't he kill me? Because he can't. You have a protective field around you, the field of time.
Well, he's not thinking about it. Although, given Discovery changed time several times, as other shows have, it's odd to think we've actually got a solid thing in time, but, you need it for TOS to work, so it's like, funny how they can't bend certain things, but also they shouldn't. I'm not saying they should, but, like, why can't that be the same for some other things? But, yeah, like, I was wondering why, and you gotta imagine, like, if it's a cosmic thing, we know because it's cause and effect, and TV show, but, like, what is the guy thinking? Who's pointing the phaser? Because he's not shooting him because fate. He's making a choice not to kill him, which happens to mean he doesn't die. Right? It's not magic. He just these events, the luck factor means he can't die.
Yeah, maybe it was just a moment of these people are human too. I don't know. That was never expanded upon.
Yeah, I think that's what it was in the universe, because they made a point of having unusual helmets that should stop them from being seen. That was definitely a choice.
Oh yeah.
Until Pike's helmet was visible and of his, and therefore that he saw it. So I think that was absolutely it. You scanned the ship, they had human life signs. You scan Farragut, human life signs.
Maybe they don't have scanners that advance that they care what life forms are on board.
And yet they have a gravity beam that can destroy everything and also defeat 3D7's minimum. Oh, I'm not going to buy that. I know what you mean, but they're not idiots. They're world killers.
Which you could argue is an idiot thing to do.
Yeah, it would have been kind of fun if Spock had said near the end, after the debris, the ship was actually open, as it were. If they'd said, why are you destroying planets? That's an incredibly absurd thing to do. And they say, the tech is so unadvanced, it's so primitive, that the fuel intake, they never refined. Like, they don't have a matter-antimatter reactor. They don't say they do, but like they don't have that. They have to power it with the particles, whatever, which needs so much raw material to power it that they literally, to do anything, they have to do this absurd thing. So like every day they're struggling to fuel the ship, so they have to destroy planets. It's an absurd thing to do, but from their context, I say that, but then they've got D7s with warp cores, so that ruins that.
Yeah, they do mention a few times al dentium, so I don't know if that's important, but that's.
But yeah, why? They got D7s. They have warp cores done. Because as soon as they get one ship with tech, they have that tech. Like conception.
Borg. Yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah. And it looks like the ship that they're using was cobbled together from a bunch of other stuff. So.
And that was weird because they said they fed on ships to get bigger. Scotty, man, you scanned for 3 seconds with shields up. How the hell are you making these exaggerated claims? All these broad statements that they build the ship from parts. Like, that's it, mate.
I think there was a mythical, legendary status for these scavengers that he was just drawing on that they've heard of these tales.
I mean, Scotty would do that more than anyone else, but like I was thinking, are they Borg? They're Borg nanite tech because they're building on your ship with other ships is kind of that vibe. I guess the only other thing I'll say that I had a slight problem with was stop knowing so much about the Gorn, because the Arn's like, even the Gorn know about them in their tales. Sorry, what? You were a prisoner to be eaten, then you fought them 3 times, and now you don't know them anymore. There's no way in hell you talked to a Gorn and heard their fables in a language you understood. You don't know them! You have no ability to know that. What are you on about, Arn? Do not be saying stuff offhand as if a race you barely know. Also, they're a different part of the space. This ship is slow, it's not fast enough to get across the galaxy. They've obviously near Klingon space. To get to Gorn space would take years and years and years, and then back. They're not doing that, I don't think. That's silly.
Well, as you said at the beginning of this review, they don't care about the distance or the time it takes to get there, so. Yeah, I did notice the Gorn thing. Like, even the Gorn are afraid of them, or whatever the line was. And I was like, interesting. Okay. I just filed that away and thought it would be important later. It wasn't.
Just a bit nonsensical. A bit demystifies them even further. Yeah, just a bit silly. A bit silly.
I want to give them some credit for some of the shots of the Enterprise inside the other ship with the tentacles around it, like with the Bizarre collectors off, but like still had that like metallic sheen to them. They looked really good. There's some good visuals in this, like the ship being pulled in, and hopefully now that the Farragut's lost its nacelles, it'll be reconfigured as a Constitution class, because it should have been from the beginning.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's not going to happen.
Oh,
it's not going to happen.
No, hold on. Oh, actually, that's interesting. I mean, it's a super easy upgrade. And I would be... I mean, it's a weird thing to do. Like, can you turn a salad into a Connie? Yes. I guess. Like, refit, of course. But, like, yeah, right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought Vodka was going to die, but fine, she didn't. So I wonder if she was a bit, traumatized from being so brutally destroyed, attacked, whatever, that when they say, what do you want to do the ship? Because they've got a refix, it's brutally damaged. They say, what do you want to get the add-on pack for $10 a month? You can get the new Connie upgrade. No, actually, I think that would be a very logical way of fixing the canon loop, since we've now done the Farragut to death already, literally. So bring it back as a Connie would make a lot of sense, and then explain why he gets an Enterprise. The Enterprise, because now he's got experience on a Connie, he makes him more logical, and it links in with TOS canon. Yeah, actually, I think that's a really safe bet to do. Actually,
It would be. and it is, but I don't think they'll do it. Again, it's one of those great ideas that would work, but I don't have faith that they'll do it. So, yeah, enough of the saucer. Enough of the saucer was left. Repair the saucer, throw on a secondary hull, get rid of the struts,
swap out the engine core. It's already obsolete, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's a really good idea. I would be surprised if they didn't do it, or just never see Farragut again. But even if we don't, we can make that supposition because it's heavily implied it's a Connie and TOS, and that's many years away. So, and that was cool to see the nacelles fly off. That was a good bit easy. I'm not explaining how they disabled it. They just did.
Yeah, they kind of like and then bounced off something, and it's like, the ship's disabled now. It's like
I guess the Bassards created EMP pulse because particles.
It was just a cool visual seeing the nacelles detached. I gotta say I love that because, yeah,
It was new. I haven't seen it before. It was good.
I think that's it though for all I have to say about this for now. But join us for our live later today at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we break it down scene by scene. We'll think of things that we didn't think of in this one, and please join us so you can comment on live with us. But as of right now, you can comment in the comment section. And make sure you're subscribed so you get a notification for the live later, even though I've just told you about it. Make sure you're subscribed and click the notification bell icon to all. You know the routine. Hit like on this video. And like I said, come and join us for the lives because you guys get to put your thoughts in and challenge us in real time.
And you might have some thoughts. Kirk's vs Enterprise almost mission. This is almost our very first TOS episode. Like it was right there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a proper TOS prequel. Or if you want to support what we do here every single week, then Patreon is a super great way. It's monthly, or join the channel also monthly. It does make a massive, massive difference. Or suppose one-time support donations, thank yous via super chatting during a live. Absolutely wonderful. Super thanksing on videos of any of our back catalogue or PayPals, which we get a huge cut of compared to the other platforms. Trekyards@hotmail.com. All help. Or buy a shirt down below and rep the Trekyards brand out in the wild.
That's right. So, until next time, he is Commander Cockings.
He's got a Foley.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.